CalazCon is a show about war, obsession, colonialist occupation, and the many forms of violence those inflict. See the description for content warnings specific to this episode. Good afternoon, Dean Havoc.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
How would you judge each pilot's performance since CalazCon's arrival?
They've impressed me, ma'am. They're surprisingly dedicated, given the backgrounds of a few of them. They've been effective, carried out every mission they've been given without complaints. COA demonstrated admirable leadership. Calico brought a level of violence that was disturbingly effective at times. Winter, obviously, being able to be in multiple places at once is a dream come true for many tactical commanders. And, Adrian's always been a bit of a wild card, but they get the job done, and that's what really matters, I suppose.
Noted. How would you assess the squad as a whole?
I would say the endowment has proven to be a success. It fulfilled its purpose of raising the profile of the DFS in the minds of the Calazon attendees. They made us look like the good guys. That was their job, and they did it.
What are your suggested future actions for them, such as transfers, promotions, things to keep an eye on, and so forth?
Well, it is my recommendation that the squad be dissolved. I feel that despite its success, the endowment has served its purpose, and we can talk about what comes next for the school. Koa, I think, should probably be promoted and given a proper command. He'll want to be somewhere where his daughter can, of course, continue her education to the highest standard. Winter, I think, would be better placed on less violent work. They don't really have the stomach for it. If we have some sort of a diplomatic corps that we could assign them to, I think they would enjoy working with, refugees and people displaced by the war. Seems to be where their passion lies. Calico, I'm not sure we're going to be able to keep an eye on Calico for much longer. It's my recommendation that he be released from any obligations he has to the faction at large. And, of course, for Adrian, we'd like to petition for a posthumous pardon of previous crimes and a memorial service with full honors.
I see. Now tell me about paid promotions ship.
Welcome back to CalazCon. This episode is sponsored by Matt Mitchell. I'm Peace. You can find me at, you've listened to the other episodes. I'm at Drucifer3939 on Twitter. I'm at Piece of Crap on Blue Sky. Today, I'm joined by Devin.
I'm Devin. You can find me at Devin Decibel in most places. You can check out my games at devindecibel.itch.io. You can check out my music featuring the CalazCon theme song at devindecibel.bandcamp.com. And check out my band Gloomy June. And today I'm playing Adrian Weaver, the hacker. And at this point, still has not done anything wrong.
Never done anything wrong. Also, for real, Gloomy June rules, and so does the CalazCon theme. So please listen to those. I am also joined today by JPG.
Hi everyone, I'm JPG. I'm a pop culture educator and consultant, and I run the consultancy firm Intermyth. You can find me on all social media at SpeakerJPG, and I am playing Lieutenant Koa, who's also known as Pops, and I am playing the officer book.
And you've also never done anything wrong.
Like timeline-wise, I'm probably dying this episode.
Whoa. Spoilers. All right. I'm also joined today by Lauren.
Hi, I'm Lauren Peterson. You can find me on Twitter at DM_LSP and check out the games that I write at itch.io/DMLSP. Just Google Kissing Capes. It's great. It's fun. Today I'm playing Calico Brave, the Forewarned, and I'm the reason JPG will die today.
Beautiful. Sorry, 1 sec. I was Googling Kissing Capes. Okay. And finally, I am joined today by Marigold.
Hey, I'm Mary. You can find me on the internet, well, mostly just the games that I write at braverun.itch.io. Not really doing much else right now. And I am playing Winter's Pledge, The Hive, and, just in case you're turning in for the first time, that means I have 6, 7, 8 bodies now. And we're gonna try to, save everybody.
This would be a wild place to jump in.
Yeah, I was going to say, if this is the first episode you're hearing, please stop the recording right now and go listen to the first episode of CalazCon. Or, if you just want to listen to Blue Sky Endowment, go find our first episode. But don't start here. Leave. But the rest of you, welcome to an exciting finale. I got a couple quick things here to finish out the intro, which is you can support the show by heading to patreon.com/CalazCon. And now let's go ahead and get started. Whew, this is it. This is the end,
As we go on, we remember.
A very specific demographic.
Did I just date myself as being old?
I don't think so. No, that seems right to me. So, video viewers, you should be seeing the Goliath right about now. Audio listeners, the Goliath is... Okay, let's see if I can describe this accurately.
Get ready to rotate this in your mind.
Fortunately, I have an incredible... My cube score is unmatched, and so I can rotate anything in my mind. Anyway, so imagine a convention center that that you've seen, kind of round shaped with a sort of rising tower part in the middle that kind of looks like maybe a fancy hotel built into the convention center. Now imagine if you slapped 6 gigantic legs, robot legs on the bottom of that, spider style or crab style really. And then if on top of the tower on top, you put a big mecha torso with 2 huge guns, and then the hands are claws, and they have projected an energy sword on the left arm, it looks like, and an energy shield on the right. Although I guess this image could probably be flipped either way and still be fine. So y'all are trying to, you can see from this picture, but you're trying to get into that main section with all the windows at not the top, but like in the viewing area there to get out all of the con-goers who were just in there when this happened and did not necessarily know they were going to be part of this. Now, I guess the thing to note is that some of the people in there might want to be there. There are some people who I think paid for front row seats having at least some idea of what they were going to get. But I think many more of them did not know what they were getting into, and they are being held against their will. So that might be a thing that you guys will have to sort of work out as you get deeper into the rescue mission, right? With Goliath, anything you do against the being itself, Goliath, is going to be starting at 0 effect, starting at no effect, and you will need help or to push yourself in order to get to limited effect. That I don't believe applies to regular scale things inside of Goliath, right? So once you breach and can start saving people and don't necessarily have to act against the robot itself, your tasks should get a little bit easier. So with all that said, what's the plan here, folks. I think you already got your marching orders from Havoc last downtime, right? So
we're supposed to be rescuing civilians from inside.
100% correct.
Love going into this with half of a stress track filled out and a level 2
Did you not
damage.
heal your damage?
This is awesome. Apparently I did not. I'm so excited. This is gonna rule.
What the fuck? We were sitting around like just spending random fucking material at the end there.
Well, Calico, that's certainly a choice.
It's because I was raiding getting us material, and Calico got brought in for questioning for it. It was like one of the last things that happened. That's why I didn't get the chance to heal it.
Right. You got debriefed, right? Or something like that?
Yeah. Well, basically it was like, hey, you can't keep fucking doing this. And he got like pulled in for questioning, and I had to take a level 2 harm. Super fun. So are we like... Do we have a plan that's not just fly in there and start getting people out?
Maybe we can do some legwork. Yeah, we should do some legwork.
I actually do have a legwork action I would like to do. So, this thing is huge and terrifying in so many ways. And as we all know, because we have all seen Star Wars, huge and terrifying weapons of mass destruction tend to have lots of little tiny ways onto them. And into them?
Sure.
Yeah, I want to see if I can find any way into this place. Like back doors, service tunnels, things that we could, do like a Millennium Falcon run and zoom inside.
Absolutely. I did share a little diagram that Matthew had made of how the sort of layout of the interior of the thing is there. So you guys your mission is taking place in Area 3 there. That is the remains of the convention center where unwilling civilians are being held. I guess most of the people who are willing are probably up in Area 2, the VIP viewing area.
Makes sense.
But yeah, we actually will need y'all to stay like relatively in your zone in 3 so that we don't have accidental overlap with the other missions,
Totally. That makes sense.
But yeah, okay, so you're looking for a way in. That seems like a reasonable thing to look for. What's your approach? What's your angle here?
My angle is one of my pieces of pilot gear is find maps.
Okay.
Several highly detailed physical or digital maps of a specific area. I don't think it would be ridiculous to say that I have several detailed physical maps of the convention center.
Right, of the convention center before it transformed.
Right.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So
yeah,
that's...
I see.
Like, things may have changed, but these are highly detailed maps, right? So, like, Calico has these maps out and is going, okay, based off the fact this thing is up and walking around... Which of these potential routes is most likely like not full of machinery or hasn't been changed in some way or another? And just trying to find any possible angle to get in.
Right.
I know that this is not necessarily going to go well, given that one of my dice is for sure going to be a 3.
Totally. What pilot action do you want this to be?
It's got to be study, which I guess I'm bad at.
Yeah, that was
very bad.
As you were describing this to me, I was like, "This sounds like a classic study." I wonder if they know that they have 0 dice in study.
You know what? Okay, can I offer this instead?
Yeah, if you don't have a counter offer, I do have one for you. Of way to make
the counter offer is it's not Calico sitting at a desk looking at these maps.
Mm-hmm.
It's Calico flying around this thing in the final act of Time and Reason with like a digital overlay of these maps.
Okay, so that's how you're doing survey for that.
Yeah, which I mean obviously puts him in danger.
Right, that works. I have a counter offer for you that can maybe let you use survey, because survey is also generally the action you use when you're using your predictive powers, right?
Yes.
So what if you have all the maps spread out on the desk? But instead of you staring at them and meticulously picking out things, you are like holding, a pendulum from your prognostication tools over them and like seeing like where it points to and then directing your attention to those spots more specifically.
So traditionally, Calico's prognostication tools don't work that way, but I like the angle.
Yeah,
maybe that's
change the details there.
So the detail there then would be that, like, yeah, these are maps laid out, and what he's done is taken because the deck of cards that he has is like designed specifically to prompt the computer in his head for stuff.
Yeah.
It's much more intricate than simple like open up Chrome or whatever.
Right.
Because he does do it kind of like tarot reading. So maybe that's what he's doing is he's done like a specific spread laid out over the map.
Okay.
And is like flipping those cards in specific areas to kind of get an idea, a reading of it. That feels very right to me.
Okay,
especially in the ways we've seen him operate in the past.
I'm extremely into that. So,
okay, cool. So this is a survey, but I am exhausted, so I have -1 die.
Yeah. So, but it's a fortune roll because you're just doing, legwork here.
I'm gonna mark fine maps though because that. That's.
I don't think you have to mark it because you're doing this theoretically at home in base where you have access to all of your pilot gear.
Okay, that's fair. I just wasn't sure if it was you're not gonna have time.
No,
Take the maps.
I don't think so. I think you were given a couple days to plan for this, so
Gotcha. Cool. Then I guess I'm gonna roll. I'm rolling 1 die. 1 is automatically a 3.
I mean, we did a whole downtime while this thing was rampaging, so.
We'll see what I get.
And then you've got a 3 and a 2 left in your pool right now.
Yeah. So one of those 3s is going into this roll.
Okay, so you got a 5 and 3. You got a 5. Okay.
5 and a 3. A 5 and a 3, but the thing I'm using is fine maps. So I don't know if that's like just what allows me to even make the roll in the first place, or if fine comes into play.
For legwork here, I'm not sure how much the quality of the tools is going to affect it. Okay. You think you're probably going to have the best luck trying to go in through the windows, right? The exits would have all sealed because of the giant robot transforming, which is and that includes things like emergency exits and stuff, which you may be saying to yourself, but Peace, isn't that extremely dangerous and not safe? And to that I say, yeah, that's why we have to save these people. I think what you figure out is that your best bet is probably going to be just breaking through one of those sets of windows in the back specifically. The ones in the front you think have been reinforced well enough, but I'm trying to hand wave this a little bit. You think maybe because of something to do with the balancing issues and its center of gravity, they couldn't thicken up and armor the glass as much on the back as they did on the front to make it so the people are theoretically safer as they watch.
Damn,
this.
These guys never played BattleTech.
Yeah,
you never strip armor off the back.
Yeah,
that's how you get cored.
That's
all right, cool.
That's what I'm gonna give you, but you don't have a specific, you know what I mean? You're just getting sort of a general area here. That's
okay. So it's very much like Calico just being okay, this seems like a good path, and flipping over a card and getting images of all those doors being sealed up. This seems like a good path. Flipping over a card and it's that hallway is now just a giant generator.
Right. Exactly.
Not that he sees in there, but I think it's kind of playing out what the scenario might look like, seeing people turn corners and things like that.
The gate can connect to the local network too, right?
Yes, but I don't know that it does it in that way.
Well, I was just going to say, because there are cameras, inside the convention center getting, footage for things. So not in a sustained, but maybe you're getting little flashes of you know what I mean? Brief glimpses as the gate tries to touch those networks briefly. Or
negative information is still information. So I know at the very least, hey, a lot of this shit's sealed up. Our maps are effectively not going to be very useful.
Well, I think once you're inside, they will be useful. But the exits to the outside are most, you know what I mean? Mostly sealed. Anybody else got any, major legwork they want to do before this goes?
I got one.
Yeah, go for it.
We know that acting against this thing is going to basically have zero effect unless we boost our shit, right?
Right.
So I was thinking, is there a way that I can modify one of my apps without it being a whole clock? And what I particularly want to do is I want to modify the swarm so that it recognizes our team as not good food for it to spread into.
I think that's going to be something that you would have to do like in the moment, like as it comes up, right?
Okay.
Because you still have your like main portion of the swarm, but the part that you did let get out and that is infecting Goliath, I think is like I think you'd have to be inside for you to like interact with it and touch it. But I do think that is a thing you could do with like an interface role inside of Goliath.
Is there anything I can do now as a like setup action
like
for that later?
Prepare for that?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Like it could just be me familiarizing myself with all of the like individual like OSs on all of my companions' Avis, so that I know how to like make sure that we're all like safe from it.
Sure, you could do that, and then maybe I will give you like +1. You could do, I guess, a preemptive setup roll here. What action are you like taking to do that?
It's probably study because I'm like looking at the OSs of Avis. That's a crit.
Wow, that's quite a lot.
That's 646.
We haven't seen one of those in a while.
Nope, especially on something kind of inconsequential. Well, it becomes not inconsequential, right?
Yeah, I would say like, so the first time that you need to act to defend one of your own team's Avis against the bugs, you will automatically succeed, I think. So keep that in your back pocket. You have like 1 hold to act against the bugs.
I love how I'm like, man, I want to use the bugs as a way to get in, and basically you've just been instead, no, the bugs are already there and they're going to fuck you up. You need to roll to protect yourself from them.
I mean, the bugs might not fuck you up, but they're just like, they're in the guns, I think.
So I'm not that good at computer stuff IRL, but what I do imagine here is that I've like uploaded a little like mini, it's probably my own like personal Gossamer system or something like that. It's like if you're like booting up a Mac computer in fucking Linux or something, like there's a secondary little OS in there that is my like homemade one. So now I have a little like interface position in all of your Avis.
So you do have that in your back pocket. Like I said, you can basically do a hard counter on the bugs once. Cool. So that was some good legwork so far. Anybody else got anything before we jump into it?
Yeah, I do.
Sure.
You may recall that I've been working on building like a network this whole time.
Sure.
And I kind of want to see if like I have people I know like on the inside that can like help us learn a little bit about like the situation before we get there.
That's a good question. What's going to be your role for that?
This will be a consort role.
Okay. Yeah, that seems right.
So based on previously established relationships and people I'm trying to like work with to, do my whole thing.
Totally. Yeah, go ahead and give me 3d6.
All right, we got a 5.
5. Okay. So I think what you're able to determine on a 5 is there are probably people in there that you know. So here's the problem is that communication between the inside and outside of Goliath is spotty right now because of the force fields that protect it,
Yeah.
They tend to like disrupt self-service or something. So you're able to get, confirmation that a couple of the people in your sort of extended refugee network or your mutual aid network, whatever you want to call it, are in there, and you're able to coordinate with them a little bit, but not as much as you might want. You're not able to get like really good details out of them about what's going on inside, but you're able to maybe coordinate with them to like when the moment comes for y'all to strike, like you can make sure people are out of the way of the entry point and yada yada yada.
Okay. Cool.
So in practice, mechanically, what that's going to give you is I think a +1 die on your engagement roll.
Okay.
You are also, I believe, getting help from Deus's squad.
Yes.
What are they called? The hermit crabs? Is that them?
Yeah.
That's right. They were the ones who were trying to convert CalazCon goers into little Jovangelians, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is like, being seen doing this rescue is like good for them too. The squad still doesn't like you, but you and Deus have sort of buried the hatchet and are working together. All right. Well, that was Lauren and Devin and Marigold. JPG, you got any?
I was gonna do something mission related, but now I think I'm gonna be a little bit selfish.
Okay, let's hear it.
I need to find a place to make sure that like Adelaide and maybe the rest of the kids at the school are going to be okay. Because this thing is on the move, right? So this could be anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what is a safe place in this? Tell me what finding a safe place under those conditions looks like.
Peace, what would be funnier? Would it be to drop off Adelaide with Gishlak?
Oh my God.
Or
with Havoc, right?
Or with Havoc. Yeah.
I think it'd be way funnier if it was with Gishlak. Let me just let me see if PB is like online and able to thumbs up that.
Hey kids, do you want to go stay with your weird uncle?
Okay. PB says absolutely.
Yes.
Then yeah, absolutely. You could drop Adelaide off with Gishlak. I don't think that requires a roll of any sort. Let's get just a little scene of this. Adelaide's about to walk away to go with Representative Nil. And what do you say to her in this moment where, you've made jokes about it during your intro? There's part of Koa that suspects he might not be coming back, right? Like, what?
Well, I think this is out of all the missions, right? Like, we've had a little bit of leeway and we've had a little bit of creativity when it comes to just trying to solve these problems, right? As opposed to this one, this is very much, okay, this is a big thing that's a very specific threat, and we have one function.
Mm-hmm.
So out of all the missions, this is the one that Koa is feeling the least good about.
Sure.
And I think, you get that scene where Gishlak opens his door, and it's just me and Adelaide, and I'm like carrying like a bassinet, like 7 blankets. Like it looks ridiculous, right? Just like anything that I think she would need.
Right.
And in a backpack that I've specifically packed, it's like all of our family photos and like the very cover of this is a photo of the Blue Sky Endowment with Adelaide.
Why am I doing this to myself? I'm breaking my own heart. God. Okay. But like, all right, that was extremely touching, but also, like, what do you say to her? Like, what are the, I don't want to phrase it this way, but like, what are the last words that Koa says to Adelaide before he goes on this mission?
So I think I get down on one knee and I tell her, okay, you're going to stay with Nuncle Gishlak for a little bit, okay? And it might get a little bit dangerous. So just listen to whatever they have to say, because they will make sure to keep you safe, mostly because they want to keep safe themselves. And then he says, and he kind of grabs her face a little bit, and he says, please remember, you are smarter than everybody else in the room, and you care more than everybody else in the room. So when any of the adults tell you what to do, feel free to listen, but I also know that you are always going to make the right choices.
She says, Dad, you're being really weird right now.
I know I'm being weird. I get that. But just like just this one time, let's have Dad be the smart one and you be the one that listens on this one, okay?
And she looks at you for a minute and she kind of nods, and then she gives you a hug and she says, I love you, Dad. Be safe.
I love you too. Remember, you're smarter than Uncle Gishlak.
Okay. She goes inside, and I want you to know that PB says that they're going to watch a lot of anime together. So that's exciting. All right, let's get this show on the road.
Let's do it.
So we got to do a engagement roll, folks. First of all, I guess your target is Callous Clash, right? Is Goliath. Your objective is to get out the unwilling civilians that are being held captive in the convention center. Your rules of engagement are, don't kill any of the civilians. Other than that, it's pretty minimal. Like, we don't care about you doing damage to the convention center or anything like that. You go hog wild. Just try to make sure that none of these civilians die. Right. That's your top priority. And you've got the normal ones. Like, you can't pretend to be medics and don't do war crimes like normal. What tactic do y'all want to use? I can think of 2 or 3.
My goal was to try and find a way for us to sneak on board, but it really doesn't seem like that's an option with all the exits being sealed up.
I think if you'd gotten a 6, that would have been more viable.
Right. As far as I'm concerned, apparently our way in is blow a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
That's my vote.
So that's a vote for assault?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we know a place where you could blow a hole in the wall that wouldn't blow up?
You know that the rear
Civilians?
the rear windows are going to be the weakest point, and with Marigold having some contact with the people inside, they feel like they can probably clear that area out, right?
Okay, cool. Evacuate an area for us to explode into.
Yeah, and also most people are going to be watching from the front windows, which is why the back windows aren't as armored.
So this is probably going to be a no. But blowing a window, just blowing a hole through one of the walls, could that actually count as sabotage instead of assault? Since I think don't we get special things if we do like a sabotage or an espionage?
You have Silver Tongues and PR campaign. Oh, you're talking about for your XP triggers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this is a propaganda operation.
Okay.
Right? Like yeah, and also, I mean, this is the last mission your squad is doing. I don't know that you need to scrabble for squad XP at this point.
Also
but I
fair.
do appreciate the hustle. Okay. So that's one vote for assault with, point of attack, the back of the thing. I could also see you potentially doing a transport tactic for this, right? Carrying cargo and people through danger.
That, to me, kind of implies that we've already got the people.
That's true. That kind of does.
And I am down to do we've already got them, let's get them out of here as this thing is like chasing us down. That sounds sick, but
right.
I don't know if that's what the scope of this is supposed to be.
Okay, well, I guess does anyone have a vote for something that's not assault then?
No, I kind of want to... I want to kick this off spicy.
Kind of want to go all out just this once, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What's everybody's pilot loadout going to be for this?
Heavy.
Normal.
Medium?
Medium.
Okay.
I am doing medium as well.
Normal, they say. And Marigold, what's
I think medium works this time.
All right, so we got an engagement roll. So let's step through it. So we start with 1 die, right? And then we get +1 from is the mission bold. I don't think it's especially complex. Smash a window and evacuate people is a pretty straightforward plan. This does exploit the target's vulnerabilities because you took time to do that. So that's +1. So we're at 3 dice right now. No external support or interference. Other factors. I would say the difference in squad tier here is a factor, right?
Okay.
Calaz Clash is tier 3. Y'all are tier 1. So that's going to be a -1. That's bringing us down to, I think, 2d6 total, right? Oh, and then +1 from Marigold's thing, because that was another factor. So that cancels out. So you're at 3d6, but one of those gets replaced by Calico's thing, right?
A 2.
Calico, why don't you give me the 2d6 and find out what happened?
2d6 plus a 2?
Did you ask is anybody helping you or hindering you?
Yeah, and that was
missed
no
it.
on both. I mean, you're getting help from the hermit crabs, but you already knew that. You know what I'm saying?
Then, did we get that transport also to get people off?
You did secure a transport. So yeah, okay. So you know what? Maybe I'll give you 1 more dice for those 2 factors. So
yeah,
4. All right. So Lauren, roll me 3d6, and you know.
And one of them has to be a 2, right?
So a 5.
All right.
Whoa.
Okay. So that's going to be starting at risky position. I think that's about the best that y'all could be hoping for in this situation.
Oh, buddy, we're cooking.
We are cooking.
No.
Prediction pool came up 5, 6, 6, 4, 6, 2.
Yes. And
nice.
Wow. Do you need to do an omen? Or do you want to do Harbinger, or do you not feel like you have time to do them?
No, I have time. I'm just coming up with them.
Okay.
And also, there is a new rule for how omens work.
Yes. Yeah. You want to go over that real quick?
Yeah, so we talked about some design stuff in the feedback channel, mainly because omens, there wasn't really an incentive for other players to use them unless it was to basically take a 6.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So now, when you use an omen, you still take a die from my prediction pool, but if you take a 4 or a 5, you heal 1 stress. If you take a 1, 2, or 3, you'd heal 2 stress.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah. So we want to
That's
incentivize you taking those lower numbers too. So we're going to try it. The Forewarned is still in play testing, which is one of the nice things about this this actual play. You know, we get to run it through its paces.
The one thing about that I'd be curious about is like, what is the narrativization of that stress healing?
Oh, it is because you know something bad is about to happen.
So you can sort of mentally prep.
You can kind of prepare
for it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Makes sense to me.
That is at least that is the description. It reads: if you take a 4 or a 5, you heal 1 stress, or 2 stress for taking a 1, 2, or 3, as you steady yourself for a rough time.
Okay.
And then the omens that we have for this mission are 23 wingless ravens, beaks chipped and broken.
Okay.
The smell of mint, burning rubber, and caramel.
Nice.
And blood-stained golden tassels twisted into knots.
Beautiful. I love them.
That second one sounds like my Starbucks order. You know what I'm saying?
Oy.
I was going to say, so yeah, it's 3 because it's for each point of survey. Okay,
Yes.
neat. So who all is bringing their mechs in like right off the bat, I guess, and who's not? Because like I know Koa said they wanted to try like not to use their mech, right?
Yeah, somebody dropped me off.
Well, are you like flying the transport ship?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, somebody does need to do that.
I'm definitely doing that.
Okay. What do you want Deus and the hermit crabs to do for y'all?
Do they have avis of their own that they're bringing?
They do. Deus will at least be there in a couple of nights.
Can they help be clearing a path for us?
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
You like, get us to it.
Okay, yeah. So we can use them to sort of open the vector and then y'all smash through the doors. All right, neat. So Pops is not bringing a mech. Winter, are you bringing your mechs?
The inside of this thing is like, it's big, right? Like,
Yeah. It's like a whole
Like
convention
mechs
center.
can operate inside of it
Absolutely.
to like.
I mean,
do
there might be,
whatever.
once you're inside, there might be hallways and stuff that you can't get through, but you know, just in
That's fine.
general, yes, you should be able to get inside
Yeah.
and move around to some degree.
Okay, I think we bring all of our mechs, even though there's 8 of me, there's 7 mechs, because one of us is an arm.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think we bring them in because, I mean, what my mechs are for is like construction shit, you know, basically. So, that's what their original intent was.
Do you want to be the
we
one
can-
who actually breaks down the door then, or?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, cool. So again, we've already done the setup roll here, so I was just kind of getting some details to know. Adrian, you bringing
Tight.
the recluse?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So
It's pretty small, so I can kind of...
Yeah, so only Pops is like just not bringing the mech, right?
Yes.
Right, but you're bringing the transport ship.
Yes.
Is the tactician slate on the transport in case you need it in an emergency, or?
Would that be okay?
I think so. Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't
yeah.
see any reason
But
why.
it's busted.
I was going to
remember.
say it's busted
Yeah.
and uncalibrated. Damn.
It is busted.
Damn. Y'all are going into this one set up for success, huh? Okay, well, in that case, I think we set the scene with, what are they called? The rolling rounds or the rolling ramparts? Yeah. Yeah, it starts with the rolling ramparts breaking through the window, right? To clear a path in.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in a risky position because the 3 mechs that are present, you've opened a vector here through the use of your allies, right? Like Winter, you can feel where Deus is at all times and vice versa right now. So you can, even without seeing them, you can see they've brought 3 of their bodies all in knights. So you can see there are little like anti-mech turrets on the top of the convention center, right?
Yeah.
So they are helping to draw fire from those away. And we'll open with the wall being breached and the 3 of your mechs having just gotten inside the con center. Koa, I'm going to have you hanging back in the ship until you tell me that you, like, fly in to, do something with it. Speak up if you want to have Koa do something, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Of course.
But for now, I'm going to assume that Koa is kind of hanging back with the ship, at a safe range, ready to pull up and load people on, right?
Yes.
So the three of your mechs, the Rye Recluse, the Final Act of Time and Reason, and the Rolling Rampart, parts 1 through 6, or parts 1 through 7, rather, are all in the convention center. What's your next move? You're in like we've all been to cons, right? You're in like a high-ceilinged, carpeted, thoroughfare, like big walkable space, right?
Uh-huh.
I think the Final Act of Time and Reason is big enough that you're able to fit in here, but like just barely. You've got to have your wings like tucked instead of out, and
That was my question. The Final Act of Time and Reason is absolutely massive.
It's humongous. Yes,
I was wondering if it could even fit in here, or if its job is going to be to like.
You might have to kind of be at the
around.
door. Yeah,
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, the Time and Reason might not be able to get all the way into the breach. It might just be.
So my thought here is one of two things.
Okay.
Either the final act is going to help defend that carrier that we're going to be loading people onto.
Sure, that seems reasonable.
Or like we're gonna like smash it through the wall, park it, and Calico's gonna have to go on foot for a bit.
Okay.
Either is fine with me. I guess it depends on what we need to do. If that carrier comes under attack, I think I'm in the best position to actually defend it, being that I'm enormous and can't really move through this space very well.
Okay. Awesome.
That's not a bad idea. Because I feel like our egress is going to be like the most like under threat, like gathering people and like getting them out.
Yeah.
Plus, based off the art, this thing is like covered in turrets.
Yes, absolutely.
And missiles and
It's
all
bristling.
sorts of stuff.
Goliath, yeah. I'm not having y'all do too much with the externals of Goliath because I think other squads are handling that,
Okay.
more so.
Right.
But yes, it's scary to be near the Goliath, I think, right?
Yeah.
I imagine so.
I was just saying a big part of like what the hermit crabs did for us was make it so we could get there. So like that was like they kind of cleared the way. So that's why partly narratively
Yeah.
why we didn't have to go into a lot of detail.
So when y'all breached, you're breaching into like, again, this isn't like the convention floor that you breached into. So you're not seeing the booths and merch tables and stuff. This is like I'm trying to think of like the words for it. I can see it in my mind. Like at SakuraCon and Gen Con, which are the cons I've been to, outside of the main convention room, there were like, big wide walking spaces.
Like the foyer kind of.
Yeah, foyers and people would like hang out there and do cosplay and take pictures and chill and stuff. So I think that's
Right.
the area that y'all are coming into. Because you are coming in a risky position, though, the onboard manufactory things have deployed a swarm of... So, okay, let me just give you a fact about Goliath. So, there's on board, it has a internal Avi factory. It's been converted into a drone production line. The drones look like Calazar Gunpla.
Oh.
Many of them are about 2 meters tall, about human sized, but there are also 20 centimeter tall versions of them. So like little ones. And a swarm of these 20 centimeter tall drones appears to, investigate the breach and begins immediately opening fire on the Rampart and the Recluse. I'm going to put a 4-step clock on the board called drones. What do? You will need to somehow get past these drones in order to get to the civilians that you need to rescue.
I mean, impulse is just like squish them.
Yeah. That I think it's going to be, I guess, is that battle or destroy? How are you painting it, I guess?
I think it's destroy because I don't.
Because you're not being
Battle.
particularly precise. What weapon or system are you using to destroy?
This is still just a melee weapon or two.
Sure.
But from like 7 directions.
Right.
And yeah. So if you take a cool, good look at the Rolling Rampart,
Yep.
for the listener's sake, it is like just like kind of covered in like
construction equipment.
It has
Yeah.
4 big arms, and they're all like construction-y, different thingamabobs. So, I mean, squashing 20-centimeter things and grinding them up.
Yeah,
and picking them up and throwing them outside. It's all like relatively very within my wheelhouse.
This is a Goliath system, so I believe that this is going to be starting at no effect. So you're at 1d6, no effect. Are you pushing yourself or getting help?
Yeah, most likely. Let me see. I double check my abilities here. Okay, I can reduce harm when I need to with the thing I start with.
Mm-hmm.
When I push myself, I can choose one of the following in addition to normal benefits. Coordinate your bodies as a small gang.
I can help too. I have 2 beliefs with you, so I can give you two things.
Oh, yeah. So you can help. Do you want to help? Are you helping with
Yes.
this? Okay.
Because the bug buds are here.
The bugs are here, but these are not, as far as you can tell, this swarm of drones is not connected
No.
to
The bug buds, the rolling rampart and the Ryrekus
Oh,
are both
yes,
bug
the
themed
bug
objects.
buds. Yes. Sorry, I missed
That's us. Yeah. And pushing myself is 1 stress, right? Is that right?
No, this is a vehicle action, so it would cost 1 quirk on the rolling rampart.
1 quirk.
But
Right.
You're giving, Adrian, are you giving 1 die and one effect to get up to limited?
Well, I think Mary gets to decide what they ultimately want.
Actually, I believe the rules are that you, as the helping player, get to decide what benefits you're giving.
Okay, cool. So I'm taking 2 stress. Where are you at the moment, Mary, with your roll?
So I started at 0, I guess, and then
You start at 1d with no effect.
with no effect. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So that's where I'm starting.
You could use both of mine to bump it up to normal.
You can only, so the way help works, you have 4 benefits, right? Which are a die, a positioning effect, or helping someone with level 4 harm or level 3 harm. You can give 2 of those. You can't give the same one twice.
But you can give the same one twice because you can get an additional effect and then you can get better position and then reduce it down for extra effect.
Yeah, but you would be giving position and effect, and it
Yes.
would be Marigold's choice to drop it down.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Which is what I'll do. Which it takes us to risky standard with that, right?
So hold on. So I just want to I want to understand the math here. So Adrian is giving position and effect, which takes you to one die controlled limited, and then you're dropping back down to
Controlled
risky
limited.
standard. Okay. So you're at 1D risky
Yeah.
standard right now. Yes. That does
Yep.
work.
And remind me what being a small gang does for me. I can't remember.
Fictionally you can fight as a small gang. Like it means this is a swarm of multiple things. So I mean, doing that would help you in that you wouldn't be
Your effect is not reduced.
right. But you were already starting at the lowest effect possible, so I don't know like how much it would really. We can say you're coordinating your bodies as a small gang for this, but actually I think it's probably better for you to take the your next help only costs 1 stress, right? So that when Adrian rolls, instead of spending 2, you can give them 2 benefits with 1 stress.
Okay. Sounds good. So I'll push myself as well just to give myself an additional die. In
Which quirk are you spending for that?
I don't have very many quirks. Never mind. I'm not going to do that right now.
Okay, so you're just doing 1d6 risky standard?
Yep.
All right, hit me.
Guess so.
Adrian in the Ride Recluse is perched up at one of the like windows that we burst through, and I'm doing sort of an Overwatch thing, and I'm using my like eye laser to basically like corral the drones closer to the rolling ramparts so that they can do their like melee attacks. So basically like
yeah.
burning circles and like basically doing like sheepdog stuff with a laser.
That seems reasonable to me. Mary, do you want a collateral die?
Ooh, yeah, tell me about it.
If you take this collateral die, then regardless of success or failure here, you will need to leave like one of your bodies behind here at the breach, and you will be like down to 7 going for the rest of the mission, right? But they won't be dead or anything. They'll just be, they'll have to stay here to like guard the exit or whatever.
Okay, sure. You got it. That sounds good.
Cool. So that gets you up to 2d6 risky standard.
All right.
Hey! Oh my God! I was about to ask if you wanted to borrow one of Lauren's 6s, but you brought one of your own. All right, you're certainly handling the drone swarm. Adrian, if you've got like a quick follow up here, you should be able to like punch through. Right? You've only got one tick on that clock left for the obstacle. You don't have to blow them up either. You can like hack them or distract them or what. Just as long as you have a way to get past them, right?
Yeah. My vehicle actions are kind of bad.
Totally. Yeah, you're not a very good mech fighter. Well, I mean, it's not terrible. You got one battle, you got one maneuver, and you got a point of scan and bombard. Like, not the worst. Although you certainly are much better at sway, interface, and study.
Yeah.
If you can think of a way to use a pilot action from inside your Avi against these drones, I'm more than happy to let you do it.
So I do have a data bomb program. What does that do again? Yeah, I guess that's like the thing where I'm always like super confused about like how the hacker works is like, okay, yeah, like interface is a verb that describes, a lot of what a hacker can do. But when you're doing Avi stuff, you're like kind of supposed to use the Avi.
Well, again, it depends on what you're doing because you often are essentially just using your Avi as a mobile hacking rig.
Yeah.
Which means you're not really doing vehicle actions with it unless it's like, sometimes you might need to maneuver to get into a better position to like, send a program or whatever. I do think that this, with them being like right in your face, probably, good to just immediately start interfacing.
Yeah.
Trying to see. Where is that data bomb? Used to shut down systems by overloading them with data. Yeah, I think your data bomb program would make sense here. And your hack rig is part of your vehicle. Yeah, I would say you could roll interface here to try and bomb out these last few drones. Just cause them to like freeze up in the air and fall down, right? Or they're not necessarily flying. Some of them are, but they're like little Avis. They're like little robot gunplas that are attacking y'all.
They're little robots.
Yeah. So you would be starting at 3 dice for that.
And we're risking
again, but you do also start at no effect, so you got to get some kind of boost there.
Okay, I'm gonna push myself because I have the Tesla ability, which I've never used.
Ooh!
When you push yourself, you can do one of the following. In addition to the normal benefits, unleash a stroke of lightning as a weapon from the power grid. Summon an AR storm in your immediate vicinity that will cause AR confusion. I think the AR storm makes the most sense with it being a data bomb.
And there's probably a lot of latent AR constructs around here because of the con. So hell yeah, you can unleash an AR storm in your immediate vicinity. And you are getting the normal benefits, which means I assume you're pushing yourself for effect.
Yeah. So that would only bring me up to limited, right?
That would bring you up to 3d6 limited, but there's only 1 tick left in the clock, so limited effect would get the job done.
Okay. Perfect.
Are you trying to solicit help or anything on this, or are you just gonna go for it?
Witcher's the only person like directly around, right?
I think Calico is. Calico, remind me where you ended up.
It was like if the opening shot of this was like from the inside of the convention center, right, and that back, like all the glass shatters and the back wall gets blown open as we come in. I think it's like the final act of Time and Reason is kind of like hanging on to that massive hole as they like ushered everyone else in, probably holding up the shield behind to like block some shots or whatever. I don't think they've moved beyond that space yet.
That's what I was going to say. So I think, Calico is within visual range of you and can probably provide some limited support. They just can't bring the Avi inside the...
To bring the final act of Time and Reason in would be like, okay, we're crashing through some walls here. We're taking some pillars down.
Yes.
I have 3d6 and limited effect, and I only need 1 tick, so I don't necessarily need help.
I feel like you're probably pretty good.
So I want to retcon something I said earlier now that I know that information.
Totally.
Dubai Recluse was sitting on top of the Act of Time and Reason's head when it was doing the Overwatch laser stuff.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Oh yeah, that rules. Dubai Recluse also looks dope as hell. With that giant hand and anyway.
it's 4 limbs split up into 5 separately. So it has like 20 limbs. Basically, I wanted to do the thing from Ghost in the Shell where the person is like hacking with their fingers and then their fingers split into more
and
little
the
things.
fingers get bigger. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
6, hell yeah.
Oh, man.
You have made it past these drones, and you can start making your way deeper into the convention center. You hear the sounds of panicked civilians. People seem to be reacting to the broken, thing. As you're getting deeper in, you are starting to now see like abandoned merch tables and cosplay props that were hastily discarded, that sort of stuff.
I almost thought you said you were about to say, and then you hear the sounds of Panic at the Disco. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you hear Brendan Urie, and you're like, man, this guy's a piece of shit, but he can really sing. I don't know how to feel about this.
Yeah, so I jump into the room, slamming down my orb body with all of my limbs, and then I just start like letting out like a weird like signal that is causing all of the drones to like freak out and glitch and go in circles.
Hell yeah. So yeah, like I said, you and Winter now have an opening to proceed deeper, and you do so.
We're defeating them, right?
Defeating the
drones in this situation?
Yeah, they have been defeated.
Yeah, then what happens is that like they all start like flying around randomly, and they all start like crashing into the walls and floor and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally. So now, again, as you're moving deeper, you're hearing, the sounds of a crowd, and you're passing the detritus of the con proper more as you're going deeper. What's your next move? Are you just going to bust in there and be like, everybody follow us? Or like, what's the deal? I do think there are probably going to be guards inside from CalazCon, I suspect.
Would the guards be preventing the civilians from leaving?
I think so, yeah, because there was mention that people are being held here against their will. So I would imagine someone has to be enforcing that. Although I guess just them not having a way out could have been sufficient. But I don't imagine there are mech scale guards here, though, which might be an advantage for you. I imagine there are like people with guns here.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I'm thinking about setting up, but I think we need to do some stuff before this can happen, is basically hacking to like make like a series of like lights that guide a path for evacuation.
Oh, for people to start coming to you?
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
That seems like we don't have the intel for that yet.
I don't know. I think you have, between like having detailed maps of the convention center and just your general knowledge as a hacker, I would let you immediately try to like find an access panel, plug in the recluse, and try to hack like a light path. And I would say that you'll probably have to do something. Once you've done that, you would probably have to do something to help distract the guards so that people can start.
That's what I was going to say, is like, I don't want to do that first and then have people start following the path and then get taken.
Do you want to, I guess, do you want to like, well,
I'm going to start working on that, but I want other people to do stuff first.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. We're the only ones who have done anything so far. I have ideas too, but yeah. If our 2 other guys want.
Well, I mean, they're not as close to the civilians as you 2 are. Like, this is just kind of how things have shaken out.
That's true.
I think we're going to see more of
That's
Koa
true.
and Calico as we are making the escape, right?
Okay. All right. I just don't want to take up space if they had stuff.
Oh, no, I'm really enjoying this. This siege is incredible.
Cool.
Yeah, I think as y'all are sort of walking towards it and getting closer, somebody spots, you guys are bringing mechs through a con. Like, you can fit in here, but it's not subtle. And, I think a guard like sees you and like radios back to get back up, and like 3 or 4 dudes in suits with like shoulder mounted RPGs are lining up shots at the 2 of you. Well, I guess the 8 of you, but you know what I'm saying. What do we do next?
Yeah, so I have 2 things in mind.
Mm-hmm.
One is to like communicate with the people I have in here.
Sure. Yeah. 'Cause now that you're inside, it should be easier for you to communicate. 100%.
Yeah. To help like organize that, and kind of like at the same time. I mean, these will probably be 2 roles, I guess, but maybe not. This is up to you. I guess that's your job. Is to have one of Winter's Pledge to get out of a mech and to like try to talk to these fuckers, be like, hey, look, like why can't these people, like kind of like a...
So you want to try and immediately... so you want to have one of
sway-
your bodies dismount and negotiate, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
One is doing that, and then the other ones are kind of like coordinating the other people, like, hey, if this, like, this
if
could
it
go
does
fine,
go
but it
wrong,
probably
right.
won't. Be ready to, like, jump on these guys, or like to, like, we need to get you out of there safe.
Which body's doing the negotiating?
Who'd you say these guys are? They're like soldierish individuals.
These are CalazCon armed guards. So they're wearing, like, I imagine they're wearing, like, suits, but then they also have, like, padded body armor on over it. Because there's something funny to me about the idea of a man in shoulder pads and a helmet, but also a tie.
Uh-huh. All right. Let's go with the ever classic body 3.
Body 3, okay.
Which is...
That's what I figured.
Gwendolyn Christie.
Yeah, our Gwendolyn Christie look-alike. So you're hopping out, you're swaying, you're like, hey, we don't want any trouble. We just want to help these people leave. They don't want to be here, right? That basically the gist of your argument.
That's the gist. Yeah. Like,
Okay.
is this really really what you want to be doing? Like,
Is this worth you dying over?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Now these guys are from CalazCon, so you are starting with limited effect against them, but not with 0. Right? Because they're a tier 3 squad. They're higher tier than you, but they are not Goliath's internal systems itself, meaning, it's just the normal rules for disparity in tier.
Mm-hmm.
So your roll here starts at 2d6 risky limited. As always, you can solicit help. You can push yourself using stress in this case, because you are at pilot scale. This is a pilot action, rather.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and push myself to increase the effect here. Okay, 2 dice, risky standard, and I'm going to assist an ally on their next roll by spending only 1 stress. It is a benefit I get from that, I guess. So,
Is anyone helping you, or do you want a collateral, or anything like that?
You can tell me about a collateral. I'm always happy to hear those.
I will choose a Goliath appropriate internal consequence to introduce here. That's separate from these guys.
All right.
Yeah, I guess this already counts as security guards have noticed the lack of peace bonds on your equipment and confronts you.
Okay, right.
I guess there's supposed to be more of a con. I guess there's still supposed to be more of an internal con atmosphere here from the way that Austin has written these, but I don't know.
Are people still partying?
That's the thing.
It feels
unclear
like
to me.
I'm paying extra for a front row seat to this thing. Like people,
right?
Are
Well, those people
cosplay.
are in the right. Those people are in the VIP section mostly. But I mean, that's the thing. I think these people are a mix, right? I don't think most of them knew what they were getting into, but some of them are panicking and freaking out, but some of them are excited and are in cosplay and are all the stuff that Lauren just said. So there's a mix here in the main convention center. Yeah, but that's the thing is I'll introduce one of these other things.
Yeah, somebody put hard work into writing that stuff, so let's see it.
You want to do it? Okay, taking the thing.
Yeah,
perfect. I'll go ahead and tell you what that consequence is, or I'll tell you once you make the roll.
Okay, so this is an action roll.
Yep, 3d6. No, Adrian, you're not helping Winter with
Sway.
this.
No,
cool.
It's very expensive for me to help Winter.
Totally. Oh, are y'all at 3?
We're at 2, but
2. Okay. Yeah.
I'm already at 4, I think.
All right,
that's a 6.
We did it.
So you say, you're like the guards, like, hey, look, we're just here to get people who don't want to be here out. Nobody has to die. And I think they look at the fact that there are 7 of your mechs and 4 of them at pilot scale. And their captain thinks about it for a second and then just gestures. It's stand down. And they all put their weapons down.
Also, there's a creepy spider hanging from the ceiling in the corner. That's also a mech.
Here's the offer he'll make to you. They will stand down completely and even let you proceed with, evacuating willing civilians, but you can't take your mechs past this point. They want you on foot.
Well, we're trying to get people to come to us anyways, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine. I
Okay.
think I just end up leaving like
Cool.
a couple of my bodies here.
Yeah.
Koa's right outside, right?
Calico's right outside, and then I think Koa's a little further off, like outside of the range of the Goliath's turrets for the moment. Ready to make a daring push if it comes to it. Oh, and then you need your consequence from the collateral dice. So you said you left like 1 or 2 behind in your mechs here at this sort of checkpoint, Winter. So you're down to like what, 7?
Yeah.
Walking around at this point, or no, 5, I think.
Yeah.
It is at this point that the Goliath's internal AI proxy, which is Baron Bastardos, notices your squad, and lights begin to like flash randomly around you as you are moving to the main body of the convention center. And indeed, you emerge onto the main convention like floor. You can see outside, the battle is starting to heat up between Horizon Blue and Hope of Calazar. They're like out there fighting against the thing, and it's you guys kind of used the battle, I think, as cover for your ingress into the back. So while the guards are no longer going to impede you from doing this evacuation, the convention center itself is sort of turning hostile against you. What do you do? So yeah, you're now in this main room. Are you getting people's attention? Like what? Tell me what happens next.
Well, I was gonna try to make the escape arrows.
Okay. You're try and light up the escape arrows. So the problem is that now you're like actively contesting with the proxy who's trying to fuck with you while you're doing this.
Mm-hmm. Do I need to deal with this AI then?
If you don't get a 6, then he's probably going to be able to mess up your result in some way.
And if I was to try to take him on, would that be a clock? Would that be?
Yeah, he would have a clock, I think. Actually, let's go ahead and put him on the thing. I'll make him a 6-step clock.
I feel like fuck my other plan. I got to take on the Baron, and I'm going to do it the same way we did in the first mission. So you got to do the
It's a
rhyming.
callback. What? So tell me about that.
I'm starting to create AR constructs of all of the guys that have ever kicked his ass in the TV show.
Oh, holy shit! I love that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I did in the first mission.
That's interface. You start at no effect. So you're starting at 3d6 risky nothing.
Since I have to push myself to do it anyways, I'm also
to summon the AR storm.
No, to do the Tesla move again.
Oh, yeah. Marigold can also help you for only 1 stress right now.
That would be very useful.
Yeah.
You want to? How are you helping Adrian hack this? Or is it? Do you take off body 8 and like hand it to them? Like let them use it as a third arm or something?
Well, I did upload the Gossamer system into all of your mechs, so maybe I'm like using you as another like memory bank,
like
basically.
as a relay or something. Yeah, okay. Networking your okay.
Sure. Extra processing power kind of thing.
All of your mechs are part of my cloud server.
There you go.
Yeah.
Look at that. Devin learned some computer words for this one. I'm so proud of them.
What's a computer?
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's dope as hell. I like that a lot. Marigold, you get to give 2, right? You have Winter has 2 with Adrian. Okay, so
that's right.
Devin, you already pushed yourself for effect, right? To get up to risky limited.
How many dice do you have right now, Adrian?
I have 3.
You want to boost the effect and a die?
And if you give me position, I'm gonna sacrifice the position for effect again too.
Oh hell yeah! That's what I want to do then. Yep, you got it.
So we're moving it up to
risky great,
controlled standard, and then dropping down to risky great, right?
Correct.
Controlled standard, or as I like to call it, risky great. Or it's sorry, the meme is risky standard, or as I like to call it, desperate great. Okay. So this is getting you to risky great against a thing you started with no effect against. That's impressive.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yep. So Winter, go ahead and mark 1 stress for me, and then Adrian, I guess you're gonna just roll 3d6 at risky great, unless you want to hear about a collateral.
I do.
If you take this collateral, then regardless of your success or failure against the Baron here, all right, I'm going to give you some. I think Edrian would know this, after just a few moments of clashing with the Baron. The Baron has co-opted the swarm that you released into the guns and that were installed into Goliath. If you take the collateral, he'll deploy his swarm against you. And some of them will get into like your stuff. And until you are able to like get them out of your hack rig, using your hack rig will drop not your effect, but your positioning by 1 level until you extricate the bugs.
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So that doesn't apply to this roll, but going forward on hacking rolls. So then you are at 46 risky great, I guess.
And I'm summoning the visage of Dieter Cumulus, who was a famous mech pilot who kicked Baron Bastardo's ass in one of the classic episodes of the TV show.
Okay.
He's kind of like a hothead, doesn't take shit from no one kind of guy.
Perfect. What was that NPC name?
Dieter Cumulus.
Okay.
I just wanted to make up a guy.
Yeah, no, totally.
He has beautiful blonde hair and he fights with a halberd. Adrian's a Dieter stand because Adrian also has beautiful long hair.
Right. Yes. Okay.
A fact that I don't bring up enough.
I agree, but I mean for the viewers, they do get to see Adrian and their beautiful.
Oh yeah,
long
I always
hair.
forget that there's a visual element of this.
Actually, that reminds me, I should go ahead and drop Gossamer and Winter's like pilot scale things onto the thing so people can see them. Because
we're calling this an interface, right?
We're calling this an interface because it is, and yeah, you can go and roll it whenever you're ready.
6. Roll 6s and never die.
Hey.
Roll 6s and never die. Wow.
Oh, God.
What a great thing to say during this recording.
So worried. So worried.
Well, okay, wait, I will say that
could never go wrong.
I've rolled a lot of 6s today, but all of my 6s were accompanied by many 1s and 2s, so they're lurking. They're gonna get me at some point.
They're creeping up.
They're right there.
You and the Baron,
hey guys, what's up?
trade digital blows. Dieter does kick his ass a little bit, like his holographic, proxy form. But again, the swarm gets into your stuff from that consequence. And right now, using your hack rig will put you at a worse position whenever you're using it. Again, until you can resolve the bugs. So the Baron is at half, you've halfway dealt with that. You don't necessarily have to complete that clock before you can start saving civilians. Oh, right. So I'm going to go ahead and put this clock out here called the bugs. And you gotta get that 4-step clock resolved before using electronic stuff is like safe again.
I just feel like me and Winter are like going back to back and just like resisting different things that are happening in order to make this escape work.
It's a Robot Bros fight.
I do want to check in real quick on Calico and Koa. Do either of you have like a thing you want to do at this point to jump in, or do we want to kind of let the sort of the ground game guys keep doing their thing until we?
I feel like we've established a beachhead now, right?
I think you have. So do you want to bring the ship in and try and like dock it at the thing? So that
100%, yes.
Yeah.
Are we like connecting it to the big area so that you don't have to constantly be like making micro adjustments to stay floating behind this thing? I do like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think maybe because unless there's a threat, it seems like Calico's on threat watch. So he's standing there watching, waiting for something to happen. So if you need aid on this, Koa, let me know. But otherwise, I think I'm just like hanging off the side and like backing you in.
I know that Calico's mech is huge, right?
It's very big. I think as far as Beam Saber is concerned, large mechs are like
they start at
60
feet
tall.
Yeah.
So could you just burn a path for me to wherever like their intercoms are? Because what I want to do is I want to command everyone to get into the ship.
But you're in the ship.
Yeah, you're flying the ship.
How big is the ship?
But how are we getting people into there?
Well, I thought you were going to pull up alongside this hole and like open a door or something.
Yeah, like open up the bay. So I think I get what you're saying is like...
Yes.
now that there's sort of been a beachhead established, you want to land the ship inside the convention center.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's going to be a maneuver for sure.
So I think what I'm doing then, because this is what you were asking for help, is Calico is just like, cool, we need space. I'm gonna make space. Like we blew open the back wall so everyone else could get in. Now that it's clear, I'm gonna clear a space for you to land.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I want to give a quick reminder to Koa, or actually, sorry, not to Koa, to JPG.
Yes.
How the rules for this temporary vehicle that you are flying works. So it doesn't have quirks or a traditional damage track, but you can still push yourself when using vehicle actions with it by instead of either of those things, it just has a clock. This one has a 6-step clock. I think technically it should have a 4, but I'm feeling generous and it's the last mission.
Keep feeling like that.
Anytime the vehicle takes damage, I'm going to add a number of ticks to the progress clock according to the consequence list. And you can push the temporary vehicle by adding 2 ticks to the progress clock, or by adding 3 to resist consequences. But if the clock fills, the vehicle will be destroyed in spectacular fashion.
Okay, so I don't have any points in maneuver.
Yeah. Cool.
So could I just do you
want to try and do a different vehicle action? Do you want to try and widen the hole so you can land using destroy? Do you want to move rubble using manipulate?
Well, I would want to do destroy.
Okay. Tell me how you're using overwhelming destruction to make landing this thing easier.
Could I? Okay. Have you... what was the last convention that you had visited?
SakuraCon 2019, I think.
Okay, so more likely than not, like Crunchyroll and Funimation were there.
Absolutely, Crunchyroll.
Okay, so those are usually the biggest booths. I want to specifically take out the biggest booths because that's probably where the most amount of people are going to be.
Where people are going to be, you want to blow up?
Well, not blow up, but just destroy to the... Well, how can I do this safely? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Or could I blow up the... Could I like just destroy... Oh, man, I'm destroying Artist Alley in order to get as close to the Crunchyroll and Funimation booths as I possibly can, aren't I?
Sure. Yeah, I love it.
Oh,
okay.
That makes me feel bad.
I'm going to just write that Koa bombed Artist Alley. Okay.
Not bomb! Come on! I don't want to kill anybody.
Well, let's hope we roll a 6 then.
Depends on the roll. Yeah.
Well, everybody else is doing great. Okay, so action roll.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah. I'm going to be rolling destroy.
You sure are.
My position.
You're starting at risky, no effect. So you're going to want to push yourself or get help.
Well, Calico's like super stressed out, so I'm going to push myself, but... Oh wait, no, that's an assisting a squad mate. Dang it.
Well, you push yourself to do this vehicle action by pushing the vehicle, meaning I get to put 2 ticks on the transport vehicle's shuttlecraft.
And that brings me all the way to great, right?
No, that would bring you to limited effect.
Okay, limited effect. Could I push myself in order to get that up to standard, at least?
You've already pushed yourself to get the to limited.
Dang it, to get it to limited.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Sucks. It sucks out here. I sure hope that ship doesn't explode when it's full of people.
Could you
have it?
Give me something.
A collateral.
Yes.
Yeah. If you take this collateral in the process of clearing this path through Artist Alley, you will set a cache of art supplies on fire. They will begin burning, and this will affect the fiction inside the con.
So, regardless of if I
succeed or fail, that would fail. The collateral would just happen instantly.
Lauren, you're in the scene with me. What do you think?
Oh, give me a rundown. Give me a quick rundown one more time.
I'm blowing up Artist Alley, not trying to kill anybody. But if I do this and get another die, because I think I need another die, then it's then I light like the Blick station on fire, and it's going to be fire all around us at this point.
So you're intending to just slam the ship through Artist Alley?
Yes, in order to get as close to the big booths.
Do you just want a 6? Like, just take a 6. I've got a couple.
Yeah, we don't want to fuck up this ship.
Okay, I'm not going to take the collateral. We're going to save the 6 because I feel like we're going to need it later.
I have 3.
I know, but also...
Yeah, there are many 6s. There are many doors at
JPG, please take a 6.
Please take a 6.
Please take a 6.
Okay.
Tell us how you see the omen.
The faster you take them, this quicker we get my ability to replenish them.
So I'm taking the 6, and I
So yeah,
still
take
get
a
to
6.
roll... do I still get to roll 2 die or
You
1
get to
die?
roll 1.
1 die.
But you got to tell me how you see the omen.
You have to pick an omen. We can only do
Okay.
this 3 times.
All right.
Right.
So it's, the beaks. So the Artist Alley, like, the scene that you get is that... Could the Artist Alley section that I'm just destroying is, like, all, like, the Crow fan art that I'm just burning up and destroying in order to make the... Because it was, like, 21 crows with
23 wingless ravens, beaks chipped and broken.
Yes, so 23
I know what it is.
Wingless... Oh, yes.
It's a character from Boku no Calazar, whatever.
Family Adventures.
Yeah, who's like a little crow guy, and they have like cute plushies of him or something.
Yeah.
There's like a big
It's
pile
like a
of
little
them.
raven dude. And just this poor Artist Alley person is just out of stock now because of me.
You are a monster, and I love it. Okay, so give me 1d6.
Do we see this like ship come careening towards Artist Alley and everybody running out screaming?
I think so. I mean, well, let's get the roll from Koa first.
This is also like a pretty big ship too, right? It's
Yes.
smashing through walls and pillars and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I got the roll. Oh God, that was a 1. But I also
You
took
also
the
got a
6.
6 because of the omen. So you really needed it. Okay. You
Roll
yeah.
6s and never die, or just automatically get 6s and never
Roll
die.
6s and never die. That's the fucking theme song of. Hold on, I have to. Give me just a second.
Oh yeah, this is the jam. This is the jam.
Good news. We know the name of this episode.
Roll 6s and never die.
I think I need to give credit to, I think it was my friend Gavin who's always saying that when we were playing games.
Shout outs to Gavin.
Oh, Gavin's fishy.
Oh, shout out. Yeah. Actual shout outs to Gavin, an actual other cast member. Okay. Sorry. I thought it was just like, yeah, my friend Gavin from back home. It's like, oh.
Well, it's like
sure.
I play games with him a lot, but not in CalazCon.
I get you. Okay. Winter and Adrian, right as y'all, step into the main body of the con with all of the people there, some people are panicking, some people are really excited. A lot of people are like, what the hell's going on? Why are an alarm going off back there? You then hear a loud crash as the ship tears through Artist Alley, which fortunately was abandoned at this time. And the door opens to let people get in.
Thanks for listening to CalazCon. This episode was edited and sound balanced by Christine Blight. You can reach her for voice acting at cvblight@gmail.com. The show's music is by Devin Nelson. You can find them on all social media at Devin Decibel. If you'd like to support CalazCon, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/CalazCon. Please tell your friends about the show too. Remember, all glory to Calazar.